that more of the hood, or is that more like, you know what I'm saying? Like, is that a
It
appreciating area?
was. It was.
It
It
was the
was.
hood.
It was. There's not too many areas in New Orleans now that would be considered bad areas.
No.
And if it is, I still stay by it because it won't be for too much longer. New Orleans is basically a 15-minute city in general. So anywhere you are in New Orleans, you can get anywhere else in New Orleans in 15 minutes or less. So there's bike lanes. You see those bike lanes pop up, buy it. Because that's telling you what's coming. But there is not an area, I think, in New Orleans that I would say don't buy. For example, a lot of people shy away from the East. I buy in the East because it's still New Orleans. And we don't have land to build up and out. What we have is what we have. So once the inner city is bought up, where do you think they coming next?
I think it's just a matter of time when New Orleans East.
Yeah, so people be like, oh, anywhere but the East. I'm like, y'all, I bought 4 houses in the East. You better buy the East. Now the East is going to be more so single family homes, but you can get them for a really great price compared to anywhere else in New Orleans.
And they do have four plexes out in Mishu, out in that area. And
I'm trying to cash flowing property. She tried to steal it from me.
So that's what I was going to ask you guys, because I know we were talking about singles and doubles, right? Is it a big 3 to 4 family?
I have them all, Matt. I have them all.
He's right. He
have them all.
Have most of them. There's not a lot of fourplexes, and I feel like Julian jumps on it like he knows a millisecond before everybody else that is coming to the market, and then like he'll text me at 6 in the morning and be like, "Make an offer on this one."
Exactly.
And I'm like, "Damn, I didn't even see it yet," But it's not a lot, but he jumps on them for real. Like triplex, fourplexes, he's on it.
So Julian, so how much are these fourplexes going for, and how are you beating these two sophisticated, super producers to the punch to get these 4 families, bro?
I wake up at the crack of dawn, first and foremost. So I'm seeing them first. So I'm waking Cherry up with text messages like, we need to make an offer on this, right? And I got an offer strategy that pretty much works. I almost get no offers rejected, and then I'm able to get the price reduced because they're strategies that I know, right? So fast offer beats a cash offer. So I know how to make quick offers. Once Cherry wakes up, once she wipes the sleep out of her eye, we could get that dot loop sign and we could get it going. But sometimes I'm like, I'm about to go knock on her door. You know what I'm saying? Because I know a deal when I see a deal. But so Mishu, that's my furthest one out. Hey, it's in the hood. It's a C-class property, but it cash flow like no other. I could literally not have a tenant in one unit and it still be positive cash flow. Okay, wow. That's way out there. So that was 220. That was 225. Then I got one in the Treme, actually on the other side of the freeway. But you know how these neighborhoods start expanding. They're like, oh yeah, that's still the Treme. It wasn't a Treme 5 years ago, right? But anyways, it's a beautiful house. I got it for 330. Put in 100 to it, and then refinance out to get the money out, and that still cash flows great. And then. What else? The other fourplex was like 300. So they depends on the neighborhoods. Like the lady said, it depends on the neighborhoods, but then the rents adjust accordingly based on the neighborhood. So I know how to evaluate my deals. All my deals are at least 12% cash on cash return. That's bare minimum. So that's how I play. And if I see those numbers, I don't even have to go look at the property. I bought properties blind, because it doesn't matter to me. I'm not buying based on emotions. I buy based on economics. So if the numbers work and my financial model says go buy it, then I'm texting Cherry. I don't even have to go see it. I'm making the offer.
So with your financial model, what numbers are you looking at besides your cash on cash return?
There's 23 numbers you got to know. There's 23 numbers you got to know. Single family buyers is how much did I get approved for? I got approved for 500. How much of the house is 485? Do I like it? Yes. Three factors. And I'm as a single family buyer. For multifamily real estate, it's 23 numbers you got to know. You got to know all the rent. You got to know what they currently are and what they could be. You got to go know your CapEx. You got to know your repair reserve. You got to know if they're paying utilities, if the house is lined up for utilities as separate units, or if it's one, because otherwise, if it's one, you got to pay the utilities, right? So there's just certain things that you have to know. You got to know your own interest rate. You got to be able to get that information from your lender as quickly as possible, because 0.3% change in your interest rate could actually mess up the deal for you. So you got to know all these things in order to evaluate a deal. And because I know how to do that quickly, I'm able to make offers quickly. So there's 23 numbers you got to know to be able to evaluate a deal effectively. You got to be able to be in tap with your insurance providers, because that can make or break a deal, especially if you need flood insurance or whatnot. So that's why I actually haven't made any flood zone AE, because when I get those quotes, they're just too ridiculous to make the deal actually work. And so I'm not just paying for insurance. So yeah, man, that's the name of the game.
Know your numbers.
Know your numbers.
Know your numbers. So earners, if you have any questions, please raise your hand and I'll bring you on. YouTube, my apologies. I don't know what happened while we was in mid-sentence. YouTube stream got cut off, so I had to start a new one while you guys was talking. I guess the internet guys don't want this great information to be out there. So now I'm gonna have to
upload the recording.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to upload the recording because a little bit of got chopped off. But the main thing that people didn't hear is what was the question that I asked about the average price of doubles in New Orleans, because we got cut off right when I asked you guys that. So can you answer that one more time again?
Sure.
Oh, well, it ranges. I don't know if you guys heard Julian, but I bought a double for $225 in Treme, but Julian bought a fourplex in Mizzou for $225, right? Two different areas, but both were good prices for the property. And while I'm there, I want to expound a little bit on what Julian said when he said he don't buy off emotions, he buy based on numbers. That's very important for people wanting to become investors. I get so many people who will see a double price right and will tell me they don't want it because it's in a bad area. And I'm thinking, are you an investor or are you going to stay there? Because like I said, number one, there's really no bad areas in New Orleans. They be in 70118, that's uptown. If y'all don't see the new construction in the next block that just sold for $350, $400, you have to know where that's going. But as an investor, you have to think with a different mindset. And so many people are still thinking single family, right? Oh, I wouldn't want to live there. But there's probably 1,000 people who would. And people shy away from Section 8. I'm not really sure why. Before I was a realtor, I was a property manager, right? And tenants come bad no matter whether they're paying cash or whether they're on Section 8. The difference is Section 8 money is in your account on the 1st. Section 8 increased rents. Like I remember when the paperwork came out for rents being increased in 2020, I shouted to Julian. I'm like, hey, rent increase coming. You know, it's almost, you just have to put in for it. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, yeah, that's a really good payment standards, right? So don't shy away from Section 8. Now, you don't have to take the tenant just because they're on Section 8. You still run a credit check. And I'm looking for evictions because a lot of them have bad credit. Hell, mostly everybody got bad credit, right? So I don't care about bad credit. I'm looking for, do you have any evictions on your record? If they don't have
Julian, can you bring that back up real quick?
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna ask you a question now. Go ahead, Shelly. I'm sorry.
If they don't have evictions on their record, you know, they don't have a bad criminal background check that comes in, you know, it might be a decent tenant. And for my properties in the East, you know, they're on Section 8 and that money comes in handy, especially right now during COVID. I don't have to, Section 8 took both of my tenants in the East and brought their payments down to zero. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. One went down to $35 and the other one went down to zero, which means Section 8 is paying the remaining balances.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. And I'm looking at this chart that Julian put up, and I guess this is the 2020 Section 8 payment schedule.
Correct.
So they're paying in zip code 70112. Wait, you said 70116. That's the hot area, right?
That's Treme. And that is the max amount. That's not to say you're going to get that amount, right? Because some people look at that and go, oh, that's what I'm going to get. You may not get that amount, but you probably will get super close to it.
Mm-hmm.
But so what's 70112? Why is that 2-bedroom? They'll pay $1,700. What's so special? What area is that?
Where is 70112?
That's downtown New Orleans.
That's downtown.
Canal Street?
Mm-hmm. The downtown area, 70115. That's uptown.
Yeah.
So they'll pay on a 2-bedroom up to $1,500. And what's market value as far as for a cash tenant for that?
On a 2-bedroom, depends on the area. But I think on average, somewhere about maybe $1,200, something like that.
So
but it depends on the area.
So in this case, they're willing to pay about $200 more than what the market rent is.
And that's based on what you're supplying, right? So if you're supplying all appliances, if you're supplying washer and dryer, if you're supplying possibly some of the utilities, that's kind of what that number is based on. Me personally, I don't like to pay utilities if I don't have to, right? So I make my tenant cover their own utilities. I don't supply washer and dryer because anything that breaks, then you have to fix. So I supply like the refrigerator and the stove, or if I buy a property with those appliances already there, I'll leave them. But that max rent amount will be based on what appliances comes with the property, as well as what utilities you're paying. But yeah, they do pay, they pay well. They pay well, and sometimes above market rate.
Yeah, and Matt, I'll just let you know that you not only do you want to diversify all your assets and everything that you teach at EYL, from stocks to trucking to real estate, etc. You want to diversify your tenants, right? So about 1/3 of my tenants are Section 8 tenants, and they are great people. They're just good people who fell on hard times, and that money, as Cherian said, comes in on the first, online, and on time, right? Regardless of the economy is up or down. And my Section 8 tenants, guess what? They cover 75% of my mortgages. They cover 75% of my mortgages. So even if everything else, even if all my market rate tenants were to somehow lose their job and couldn't pay, all I would have to do is come up with 25% of my mortgages in order to make sure that I keep all the properties. So this is the power of Section 8. You know how many landlords wish they had Section 8 right now? But they had stereotypes from, I don't know, in Living Color, et cetera, where about Section 8 tenants being these people who are going to throw cement down your pipes and things of that nature. That hasn't been the case for me. That hasn't been my experience. And as Cherian said, you get to screen your tenants. You don't have to let anybody who shows up with a voucher into your property. You still have to screen them and get a feel for who they are and how they're going to treat your place. I had Section 8 tenants literally mowing my lawn because they cared about the property that much.
So I have a Section 8 tenant, and she works at Harris, and she lost her employment because of everything. But Hannah went ahead and changed it where she doesn't pay anything. And like you said about the lawn, she went and bought a lawnmower because I wasn't cutting the grass as quickly as she wanted me to. She went and bought a lawnmower, and now she's cutting it herself. So, and she's been an excellent tenant.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So in order to get your house Section 8 ready to get approved by Section 8, how does that process look like in you guys' city?
That process is nothing nice, man. You might lose a month or two of rents waiting for that process to occur. You got to get the voucher, then you got to get it inspected, and then you got to meet them. Now you got to meet them at the section because they're just not tech savvy. You got to go meet them at the Section 8 office to sign all the paperwork. In between that, Section 8 might have to do a market analysis to see what they're going to give you and come to agreement on that rent number with you. So you could lose a month or two of rent, but then you're going to get a little bit above market and it's going to be guaranteed. And usually a Section 8 tenant ain't going nowhere anytime soon. Do I wish them all the best? Yeah. But usually once they get to a place that they love and a landlord that they love, they stay in for a long, long time. And
just to add a little bit to that, so I've learned how to cut out that time, Julian, at 1 to 2 months, right? So as soon as it passed inspection, you can let them move in. Section 8 will backdate your payment amount. Gotcha. So if they don't agree to the amount, I had that happen once, and there was like $45 difference. I'm like, whatever, right? But they took over a month from the time we passed inspection to approve the lease, but she had been living there for a month at that point already. And when I got paid, they put like $480 into my bank account to backdate for the time she was there, plus that month moving forward. So a lot of people wait until Section 8 approves the lease to let the person move in. As soon as it passes inspection, they can move in literally that day.
Gotcha.
That's what sure. If you do that,
breaking up.
If you do it that way.
Yeah, you're breaking up. I couldn't hear you.
Say that again, Melissa.
I was saying, so if you do it that way, you get back paid, Sharon. Is that what you're saying?
From the date you let them move in, I have them to sign a lease. We have to come back and sign another one with Section 8, the contract. But when they move in, they sign a lease with me, and I supply that to Section 8, and they will, when they do their contract, they will backdate it to the date that we signed the lease, which is the day we passed inspections, and I gave them the keys and let them move in. Just make sure you pass inspections.
So doing that unmanaged property. So
good stuff, girl.
I'm gonna start doing it. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a gem we all learning right now. Yeah. I need to look into this too. Yeah. So wait, so as soon as you pass inspection, you let your people move in and then call it a day and you get back pay. So you get that nice lump sum like cha-ching.
In about a month and a half, 2 months, like Julian said, you get it all. And typically you'll get about 3 months, because if they take a month to 2 months to get everything finalized, typically you roll into the 3rd month. So when you get paid on the 1st, you get all 3 months, or all 2 months, or however long it's been.
So Demetrius, I'm going to come to you in 1 second. I just want to ask this question since we're talking about Section 8. What about evictions? Is New Orleans or the state of Louisiana a landlord-friendly state or tenant-friendly state? Because New York is the absolute worst, right? Like,
When
how's your city?
when I did property management, typically, and I haven't had to evict somebody in a minute, knock on wood. I hope I don't have to. But Julian may can speak to this, but it took about a month from the time I filed in court to the time the sheriff would actually go to put them out. It was about a little bit under a month's time with evictions. So I don't know if that's landlord or tenant friendly.
Oh yeah, that's definitely landlord friendly because in New
Okay.
York it could be 3 to 6 months. So,
Oh, wow.
Nah, bro, new laws passed. It could be almost 2 years.
yeah, so you could be screwed in New York. So basically you go put a 5-day notice after rent is due, like on the 5th or the 6th, and then you go down to the constable's office. You let them know, you file some paperwork there. And then the constable go do what they do. You set a court date. If they don't show up at the court date, and you do, and you win, then whoever got to come out, and but it's only 3 to 4 weeks. 3 to 4 weeks. So 3 to 4 weeks compared to 2 years. This is a landlord friendly city.
No, this is heaven.
What'd you say, Melissa?
I was just saying, in my experience, they usually move out after that 5-day notice. They're usually going after that because they know you're serious. That's what I've noticed. I've only had to go to eviction court one time since I've been doing property management.
Wow, that's pretty interesting. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I didn't know. And that's for the whole state?
That's for New Orleans area.
I guess that's all that matters.
That's all that matters right now.
All right, so let me bring on Demetrius from EYL University. Demetrius, unmute yourself. Go ahead, unmute yourself.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Loud and clear.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Matt. Shout out to you for this platform.
No problem. Thank you.
Yes, and shout out to all the panelists. I have a question. I just wanted to know, I'm from New Orleans. I'm in the New Orleans and Baton Rouge area, and I wanted to get you guys contact information. How can I find you? Because my husband and I are looking for someone to work with. We want to be investors, so we need to be in contact with a realtor to help us find some investment property.
Okay. So I'm Cherian. My number is 504-319-2641. I'll put it in the chat. And I think Matt and Julian, Melissa, we all tag under like the post or the flyer for today. So you can go right to one of our tags, and all of our information, email, number is all in the bio.
Okay.
Yep. And my phone number is 504-417-5131. And I will put it in the chat as well.
Okay.
And like Karen said, all our pages are tagged.
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I'll be reaching out to you guys.
You're welcome. Thank you.
If y'all are looking to learn about how to invest in multifamily real estate and think like a real estate investor, I periodically do a webinar at multifamilymasterplan.com. That's multifamilymasterplan.com, where I'll teach you the game. I'll teach you the multifamily math, and the multifamily mindset that you need to be able to succeed in this business.
Yeah, that was good questions, man. I'm loving this content right now because I don't know nothing about your market. And, I said I've only been there once, and just listening to this right now has me fiending to go online right now and to start looking at properties. Because if I can evict someone in 30 days, right, I can get Section 8. And I was looking at that list with all those zip codes. Julie, I may need you to send me that to me because I need to go search all those zip codes. Like the Section 8 is generous for the sales price that you're getting, and one of the things that investors like to look at is like that 1% rule, right? There's a sales price, the rent cover 1% of the sales price. Like this, blows it out the water. If you're telling me the average price is like $200, $225 for like a double, and you can get damn near $3,000 a month, like that's incredible. With these low taxes too.
Yeah.
Oh,
They've increased. The taxes, but they're not New York taxes. They're not New York taxes.
They're not Jersey or Long Island taxes.
Correct.
Correct. When you're talking $1,500, that's 1 month of rent. Like, here you go, tax man, take your money. Like, I don't need to be bothered with you. Another tenant pay, hey, here's your insurance for the year. And if you got your debt service, then you take care of your debt service. But like, this seems like a really good market. So what should we know? Like, if we're a new investor going into this market, right? Contractors, CON, contractors.
Yeah, hyphen tractors. Yes.
Yes, con-tractors, right? What's the story with the contractors out there? Is this going to give us agita and stress and give us anxiety to the highest level? Like,
Absolutely.
You need to
all right,
have
so tell us, how can we prepare to work if we're out of state investors, right? We want to come to your market, we want to invest. What's the best advice that you guys, all three of you, can answer this question, right? And let's start with Sherry Ann. What's the best advice you can give a person like myself who wants to invest in your market for the first time?
Know your numbers, right? Study. I tell people usually to have some money saved because a lot of people contact me after taking Julian's course and want to be investors, but they have no money. And the problem is you can't be a landlord without having some savings because things happen, right?
Preach.
All the time. And you can't predict it. And it will cost you money. And you can't wait to get your rent money in order to fix a problem at the house. That's not how it works. So you have to be prepared to be an investor. It's not for everybody, right? Everybody should be able to do it. But the reality is we know it's not for everybody. So you have to have that mindset to, one, be a good landlord. Like Julian said, don't be a slumlord. You have to fix your property. You have to maintain your property. Termite contracts, very, very, very important. I don't get how people have properties down here and don't have termite contracts because they are out. They are swarming. Have that contingency, have that money saved. Even when you're collecting the rent money, if you're making profit, which you should, put some of that money up for a rainy day or for a vacancy that could happen. Because typically when somebody moves out, you have almost a month that you probably won't be getting rent from the time it takes you to turn it over to the next tenant. So there's so many different, facets. I think people should read, take a course, take Julian's course and learn about how this business truly, truly works. Right, and be ready for what's to come. Get a good handyman, get a good contractor. I know I'm saying it like it's easy. It's really not. I've had my fair share of poor contractors with no integrity. It happens, right? Experience is typically the best teacher. So, you kind of kiss a few frogs before you meet your prince. But then when you get them, you hold on to them, you treat them right, you pay them on time, and just get some reliable people in your corner. Right now, a lot of programs in New Orleans come and go, but there is a program right now for owner occupied doubles where they will give you down payment assistance to cover the entire down payment. I don't know how long that money is going to last for, but there is some right now. That's what I got right now. If I think of anything else, I'll come back.
What about you, Melissa? What's your thoughts?
I would say, just to piggyback on what Charian said, definitely know your numbers, because if you buy something and it doesn't make sense financially wise, it's not a good property. So number one, I think starting with a good team. So your team is your real estate agent, because they can run the numbers for you. They can run comps and tell you, okay, this is what you can rent this property for. Before you buy something, it might be under rented. It might be a good property, but at the time the rents are a little low. So they need to know the market. I do property management as well. So you need to have somebody on your team that understands the rental market, that can help you with buying it. And like Sharon said, know your numbers, have your money in place. You really need good contractors. I think a good real estate agent can help you with that as well. They can usually field you to what contractor is good, trustworthy, because we've had bad experiences with people. So we know who's good and who's bad. We can get you with a plumber, whatever you may need on your team, we can help you with that. So get your team in place, get your money in place, make sure you got a good, you have a good lender, because that's a big piece of that puzzle as well. And you got some of the best people in the city right here on this live right now. I mean, Julian, I follow Julian all the time, and I look at what he's saying because I'm trying to get more into investing as well. So just following people like that have the knowledge. You can follow them on Instagram, on YouTube, but you need to have that knowledge to know what you're doing. Because so many people reach out to us and they want to be an investor, but they don't have a clue, and they're getting into this game and they're making mistakes, and those mistakes cost you money. So you need to be with people that are the expert in that business that can help you and guide you.
Yeah, facts. And so I would just say that One, you need to shop for your lender before you start shopping for properties.
Mhm.
If you find the greatest deal in the world and you don't have your financing lined up, then you're not going to get that deal.
Yeah.
So you got to reach out to Matt first or the local lenders. Sometimes agents don't want to do deals with distant lenders. So there's local lenders here in this market that the agent can connect you with. If you can find an agent, since they are your eyes and your ears, if you can find an agent who is also a property manager, then that is a win, because not only can they get the home for you, but then they can manage the tenants and find the tenants and manage the tenants as well. If we're talking about if you're investing from a distance. And then contractors, the best way is just through referrals. Good contractors know other good contractors, and they won't recommend bad contractors. So those are really keys to the puzzle. You need to put in your budget. When I was investing in Oakland and New Orleans from Brooklyn, I had to have in my budget to come down here a couple of times, right? You can invest blindly, that's cool, but you need to come and get familiar with the city and the market that you're actually buying in. That's really key. So first, get your lending lined up, and then find an agent. But I only work with agents who are multifamily investors themselves or know how to calculate cash on cash return. Just because you're a real estate agent does not mean you know how to calculate cash on cash return. So if you're trying to invest, you need an agent who understands what those numbers are. Go ask your agent right now. Everybody who's here, go ask your agent right now to calculate cash on cash return on a multifamily property. If they can't do it, then that's not who you should be working with. These two women here, they own multifamily properties. They understand it. So you want an agent to be looking with investor eyes. Most agents sell single family homes to American dreamers. And that's why so many people get caught up.
That was a bar right there. I may have to like repurpose that one right there and put that on Instagram. Like, Jesus, he said, yo, Julia be having like some Hove lyrics sometimes. Like, I swear I would just be like, you be talking sometimes, I just be looking like and listening like, yo, my man Julian dropping some fire right now. Jeez. Yo, so I want to go to YouTube real quick. Big shout out to the king, Andre Hatchett, with the super chat.
What's up, Andre? What's up, man?
Andre, and your leadership as always. And big shout out to Regina Joseph with the super chat for $20. She says, thank you for the info. I've been looking to invest and didn't know where to start. So you guys have definitely, impacted the audience so far, because look, even for myself as the host of this real estate market update, I didn't think it was going to be this good with this information. I'll be honest with you.
What?
I'm just keeping expectations of me on squad. I'm keeping it in the buck because I don't know about New Orleans. All I know is alligators, and you got some good beignets, or what they call them joints. Like, it's hot as Africa out there. Like Bourbon Street, it was the zombies was outside. Like, so from a real estate perspective, the time I was out there, I didn't get to see and learn about the real estate because I was there for the seminar. And only thing I did out there was honestly just eat. Like, it was just food everywhere. Shout out to Larry Morrow's too. Morrow's is the joint.
Morrow's is delicious.
Shout out to Larry Morrow, man, because we ate there like every day. But that's all I did when I was out there, right? So I didn't learn about the real estate opportunities. And from what you guys are telling me, this is like a hot city.
It is.
Like, so the only thing that stopped it from being the hottest city in the country is Katrina and the memory of Katrina. If Katrina didn't happen, New Orleans would be flying high right now.
So let's talk about Katrina, right? So all these areas, forgive me, I don't know the name. Tremont. What do you say, Tremont? What's it called? Tremaine. So Tremaine, how was that impacted by
Tremaine?
Listen, it's the New York in me, all right?
Tremaine.
So how was that impacted by Sandy? Would that area flood as well?
The whole city. I wasn't here. I let them speak.
So actually, the inner city didn't really flood, right? They kept it away from Canal Street, Treme, and those surrounding areas. So Bourbon Street, Canal Street, all of those surrounding areas did not flood at all.
Okay.
So it flooded more so the areas towards the outskirts. So the east, which is what you saw on the news, got like 20 plus feet of water, which is ironic because the east doesn't flood, right? Even now, when it rains hard and a lot of those areas uptown get a lot of that water, the east streets are dry. The water comes and it goes immediately. So the east doesn't flood, and it's a non-flood zone, but that happened during Katrina. And Uptown my parents live uptown, and they got, I think, about 3 to 4 feet of water. Now their house is already raised. We have a lot of raised homes in New Orleans. And their house was already raised, I think, about 3 feet, and they got maybe another 1.5 feet inside the house. So yeah, that's almost 5 feet of water. So it just depends on where you are, because New Orleans is a bowl, right? So if you're kind of here, you're fine. But if you're here, you're going to get it all. But they made sure that the areas that made the money, the tourist areas, nothing happened with those areas.
So that's what I was going to ask you. I'm glad you brought that up. So how is the market now? In 2020, I mean, that was, almost a decade ago, right?
2005 it happened, right?
It was 2005. Damn, it was that long?
It
August,
was.
September, right?
August, end of August.
Damn. So we 15 years post this disaster that happened. How has the city made the improvements like 15 years later? Do you think this can be a repeat of itself?
I'm gonna give that one to Melissa.
Do you think Katrina would be a repeat of itself?
Yeah, like, so has the city made in 15 years, has the city, because you guys are born and bred here, right? And you know firsthand than someone like me or even Julian, because Julian wasn't living there at this time. Like, has the city made the necessary improvements, especially for people who want to buy real estate in the city? So that way we don't worry about if a natural disaster or something like that happens, well, our properties just wash away,
Well, I'll say one thing that a lot of people didn't have before Katrina is flood insurance. So I think this educated us on flood insurance. So, most areas, that's what a catastrophe came, because people didn't have anything to cover them. So now I think if something like Katrina happened now, we have insurance and we'd be more prepared for it. But that's something that happens. I mean, the last time they had a flood to that magnitude, I don't think anything to that magnitude, but was in the 60s, I believe, something that you could even compare it to. So this isn't something that happens every year. Katrina has been 15 plus years. And some of those areas are still struggling a little bit, like the lower Ninth Ward. I think it's still sort of struggling, but I think if you're going to invest, those are areas you can invest in now, because in a few years, that's going to all change. New Orleans East, I think, is still struggling from Katrina. They still have places that are still boarded up, places that never came back, have never been gutted out or anything from Katrina. So, but I think those places can recover, but it's just going to take a little bit of time. But I think now we'll be more prepared. So I don't think we'd have that again. I'm knocking on wood that we don't.
But a key word is insurance.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody should shy away, because you should have insurance on your property. If something happened, I'm not worried about it. If something was to happen, I'm going to get out of the city and I'm going to collect my insurance payments. But again, like Melissa said, it's so key to have flood insurance, because homeowners look for any reason to deny your claim. So if they can blame it on flood, they will. I've had people who bathtub overflow and homeowners like, it's not a homeowner's claim, that's a flood claim. What? So flood insurance, if you're in a non-flood zone, or an X flood zone, a C flood zone, even a B flood zone, you're looking at probably $500 on a single family or less for the year, maybe $600-700 on a double for the year. But you'll be surprised how many people still. I check with my clients that I sell properties to, like, hey, did you file for your homestead? Do you have flood insurance? It's been a year later. No, I'm gonna get it. Listen, $500, some of y'all spend that on shoes or hair. Katrina can happen again. Maybe it never will. Maybe it will. But who wants to take that chance in not being covered behind $500 for the year? So it's important just to have coverage.
You got to do it because I don't think they initiate coverage for, I think it's like 30 or 60 days.
30 days.
Like, a flood is in the Gulf. I'm about to call these people to try to get insurance. They're going to be like, click. You gotta have it like 30 or 60 days in advance. So you can play that game. Everybody will play that game. So mine is about $70 a month on each of my properties. And what happened in Katrina is that some people, it was such a disaster. Some people literally got 1 foot of flood water and damage in their home, and they got paid out for the entire home. So literally, people profited off of the insurance, Katrina, because they couldn't go out and inspect every single house. So all they had to do was fix the 1 foot of drywall around their house, but they got paid for the full replacement value of the home. So get that flood insurance, y'all.
Yeah. A lot of people paid their houses off for Katrina, and they're able to pay it off and fix it up and have money in their pocket based on what flood paid out to them. If you're waiting on FEMA, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah. But protect your investment. If whatever property you have, you need to protect it and make sure you have your insurance. Whether you're in an X zone or not, have that insurance.
Correct.
So what does the X zone mean? X zone means for those who don't know.
Yes, it's a very, very, very low chance of it flooding, right? But the levee broke. That's considered still flood. So in certain areas for Katrina, the levee broke, which created the flood. So even if you're in a non-flood zone, we don't know. We're surrounded by levees in New Orleans to keep the water, the river waters and the lake waters from, taking over the city. So a lot of people, I'm in a non-flood zone, it's not going to flood, and they don't worry about getting flood insurance. But gotta have, especially in this city, we're in a boat, we're below sea level. You gotta have flood insurance. It's a must.
That was a gem. That was definitely a gem. I hope everybody was paying attention to that, because you can't take these things for granted. Just because it's not required. If you live in this type of environment, you should definitely protect your assets, man. It's like when I see people buy homes and they don't buy life insurance. I'm like, why are you buying a home? You'll pay homeowners insurance to protect your house, but you didn't increase or even purchase life insurance to protect yourself and have your assets paid off. God forbid something happens to you, right? People just look at it as extra expenses. But when you break down, especially me, because I'm on the lender side, I'm looking through people's bank accounts and you see the transactions, it's like, yo, you just spent a whole bunch of money on foolishness, but you couldn't get that flood insurance, or you couldn't get that life insurance policy to protect you and your family and your generational wealth. It's kind of mind blowing sometimes.
Priorities,
That's a fact. People's priorities is all over the place. Now, let's take a question. So somebody said, if anybody who lives in the Gulf Coast and doesn't have flood insurance by now is a damn fool.
Right. People don't.
That was a lot of people don't. Like it's unfortunate. So I hope that doesn't happen to people again. So on YouTube, if y'all look in the comments, because people on YouTube was asking for your information, all you guys' information. So I put in the YouTube chat all the panelists' IG information, so you guys can go ahead and follow them over there. We're coming up with an hour on this chat right now, so I don't want to keep you guys all day. I think this was a lot of information, a lot of insight, but just so let me to end this. If nobody from EYLU, if you guys don't have no questions, then we're going to end this in a few minutes. But do you think, and I'm gonna ask all three of you guys this question, do you think now is a good time to buy in your city and invest in your city, or should people wait to post-COVID and see how everything plays out with unemployment, the market, inflation, et cetera, et cetera?
You want to start with? I guess
Let's
I'll go.
start with you,
I think there's never a bad time to invest in real estate, whether that be because you always need somewhere to live. So just because there's a crisis going on does not mean that you don't need a place to live. So even if you're buying something, a single family, just for you to live, you still need to take advantage of these low interest rates. You can get low interest rates as low as 2.75. So who knows what the interest rates will go to. So if you are employed, you have your things in order, you need to go ahead and purchase your home, because you're still going to have to pay rent somewhere. And if you're paying rent, you're just throwing your money down the drain. If you're looking to invest in real estate, you need to jump on it with these interest rates the way they are, and you can get something now at a lower price. So you need to go ahead and jump on it so you can start building up your generational wealth. And don't procrastinate. Don't procrastinate and wait until the perfect time, because there's never ever a perfect time, I think.
Agreed. What about you, Sherry-Ann?
Well, I like to say everybody pays a mortgage. Either you're paying your own or you're paying someone else's. So it's really on you as to what you want to do. You're paying the mortgage no matter how you cut it. So right now, like let's say interest rates are low, I say buy if you're getting a finance deal. For cash buyers, I kind of have a different advice, which I tell some of them, go ahead and wait. If you're sitting on some cash and you're going to spend cash on a home, let's go ahead and wait and see what the market does in the next 6, 8, 12 months with everything else that's going on. with the unemployment and all these crazy forbearances, which I'm telling people to pay their mortgage. You know, very few mortgage companies are putting these payments on the back end. A lot of them are saying, hey, you don't have to pay us for 3 or 6 months, but when it's all over, we want all 6 months at one time. That is a bad deal. You can't afford to pay it every month. You can't afford to give them 6 months at one time. You know, so I'm telling people, if you can do it, which right now more people collecting, some people are collecting more money in unemployment than they make on their job. You know, so you have the money. I saw when the stimulus checks hit, I mean, people were in Walmart buying 65-inch TVs and game systems. Seriously. And so it's like, why are you not sitting on that money? Why are you not saving your money? Why are you not paying your bills with that money? Because this whole forbearance thing will not last forever. And when the bottom falls out, people are going to be in trouble who, you know, said, oh, I'll pay you 4 months at one time, or I'll pay you 6 months just thinking, let me just get through these few months, right? So for my cash people, they're waiting. They're going to wait those 6, 8, 12 months and see if you don't pay your bills, and they're going to get your house for a steal. For people that's getting finance and wants to buy single family homes, doubles, triplexes, fourplex, right now is a great time with interest rates being so low.
Yeah, and so on single families, in 2008, 2009, there was a little dip, right? There was a little dip in real estate prices. And the average home at the end of 2009 was $208,000, single family home in the United States. That same home today is $324,000. So if you would have bought in the midst of the recession last time, you would literally be up 116 racks. Wow. Your net worth would be up 6 figures if you would have bought while everybody else was scared. So yes, is now the time to buy? Yes, it is the time to buy. For New Orleans in particular, it was a very high Airbnb market. And there are Airbnb hosts who were living off, they were using it as a lifestyle business, and they weren't putting aside repair reserves, CapEx, or vacancy rate. They were spending every single dime that they were profiting off of Airbnb. Airbnb is shut down right now. Airbnb is laying people off. Airbnb is allowing free cancellations, et cetera. And those are the people who are going to be putting their properties on the market come June, July, and August. So that's what I'm waiting for. My jaws are drooling right now because I already know what's about to happen as a result of people just mismanaging this asset that they had. And so I'm holding off until summer and as we head into fall to double back down on New Orleans. Right now, I'm focused my energy on Baton Rouge, where there's a lower cost basis, and there's also some historic tax credit opportunities out there. But yeah, I think there's gonna be, I don't like to call it bloodshed, but that's what it's gonna be when forbearance is up and they can no longer hide behind this false veil. Airbnb is not picked back up. The tourism is not picked back up. Renters are not paying. People who are in that business here in New Orleans and literally had properties solely for Airbnb, they are going to struggle and they're going to have to put their property up for sale. Now, the thing is, they're going to put it up for sale at February prices. They think that, oh, I'm just going to put it up for sale and I'm going to make a little money off of this. No, you're not, because you're going to put it up there, you're going to give it to Melissa and Charian, et cetera, or some other agents, and then there's going to be no buyers for it. And then you're going to drop, and then you're going to drop, and then you're going to drop until, because you know you have to get it off. Either you're going to get it off or you're going to lose all your equity because you get foreclosed on. So that's what's going to happen. I'm pretty sure of that as soon as forbearance ends. So I'm waiting for that moment. Not that I'd like to prey on anybody's downfall, but it's not their downfall. They just didn't buy right and they didn't play the game smart. So that's what happens at the end of the day.
So Airbnb, long story short, is on the clock, basically.
If you were Airbnb and you weren't stashing away any of your profits from Airbnb for a rainy day, because Airbnb was just good. It was a good run. It was a good run for Airbnb hosts. But if you didn't stack away any of your profits for times like this, because nobody could have expected this, you're gonna get caught up with your pants down, and it's unfortunate.
Wow. So do you think the Airbnb market will come back once America reopens?
I have no clue. I don't know what travel is going to look like. I don't know what tourism is going to look like. Our economy is going to have to change here a little bit because tourism is going to get hit just like Katrina. So I have no clue what's going to happen with Airbnb cleaning standards. So you had some hosts who were cleaning their own properties, and everybody don't have the same cleaning standards. So obviously cleaning standards have to be elevated in the midst of COVID. So I'm not sure what that's going to look like. So yeah, that's one that I can't predict, man.
I think New Orleans is so big on tourism. I know right now everything has been canceled, and I am an Airbnb owner. I have a couple properties on Airbnb. So, but I diversified, right? I didn't have everything on Airbnb, and I saved my money, and I work as a real estate agent. So that money literally just sat in that account, and I didn't touch it. And Airbnb. So we are still getting bookings in the midst of COVID. They're not as much as they were. But people are still saying they're coming down here for a wedding. So they're coming down. I'm not really sure what they're doing. But, now I may get 2 bookings a month here or there, when before you were getting probably 2 every week or 3 a week. Right. So
our festivals have been canceled, and we have 130 festivals here a year, and almost all of them have been canceled for the next.
All of them have been canceled. So we don't know what's going to happen with Mardi Gras next year. We're still trying to figure that out, but we're probably looking for at least up to maybe a year of no activity here in the city. When it comes back, it will come back, but we just don't know when it's coming back. That's the problem.
So you guys don't think the 130 festivals a year, all canceled for 2020, you don't think that will have a negative impact on home prices?
No.
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Well, I think when it comes to Airbnb, right? When it comes to investment properties, I think it's different from single family homes. And even doubles are investment properties, but a lot of people are buying them to stay on one side and rent out the other side. So I'm gonna loop that kind of in with single family homes in a sense, right? So I think I'm seeing people with Airbnbs pop up now on the market, and I could tell the Airbnbs because of the minimal furniture that's in there, right? But like Julian said, there's like a top price, and I'm like, oh no, you're not going to get that. I'm seeing them every day. I'm like, oh, they're not going to get that. They're not going to get that. But I don't know. I guess we just have to see what happens. Right now, the single family home and doubles are still booming, but it depends on, like Melissa said, if they're priced right. I'm seeing them come on the market at 400,000, at 385, at 350. They're not going to get that. But who's to say they ever was going to get that? And some of the houses only sold for those top dollars because of Airbnb. Right? People were only buying them knowing, well, I'm going to make 10, 12,000 a month. I don't mind spending 400,000 on this property. But if Airbnb goes away, the likelihood of somebody spending 400 grand on a single or family home or a double is slim to none. So it's a different mindset now that Airbnb is off the table.
Yeah, I think the higher end stuff is going to go. The higher end properties are going to go down. I think your stuff below like 350 and below is going to be good. But I think stuff that you start getting into the 370 to the 400 plus is going to, because I mean, properties were getting ridiculous. And I think they're going to get back to reality because, people, like you said, Sharon, they were making a killing off Airbnb, which is cool, but that was driving the market up. Correct. I think those are probably going to go down eventually.
Yeah, so you're going to know, Matt, and you can see this all over the country, wherever your students are at. When a property gets listed on Truly and Zillow, you'll know it's Airbnb because it'll be fully furnished and there'll be no family pictures in the background. It won't be vacant. It won't be empty. It'll be nice. You'll be like, oh, somebody's staying there, but then you'll see no family pictures and it'll be color coordination and everything. You'll know that it's Airbnb. So you're going to start seeing those Airbnbs come on the market. So yeah, that's how you'll know.
Yeah. So with those flux of Airbnbs hitting the market, Julian, is that kind of why you think it may cause a little bit of a depreciation in the home prices?
Yeah, because the supply will be high. The supply will be high. So we'll see. I don't predict the future. I live in it now, man, but we'll see how it unfolds.
This is an interesting conversation right here because, I didn't even think about the 130 events that were canceled in your city. And that's a lot of revenue, tax dollars, employment opportunities, all washed away. So, I mean, I think it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out during the course of the year. So I definitely would love to get you guys back on here probably in a couple more months, just to kind of pick up this conversation where it left off, because I think as America reopens, I don't think we're going to have events and stuff like that, like how we've seen it probably sometime 2021. I know me personally, I ain't going outside to be at nobody's event, nobody's seminar. I'm not trying to be on nobody's plane if I don't have to be. If it's like, I'm even looking like, because I'm about to do a few things in Cleveland, and I'm like, you know, I got to go closing. And I'm like, yo, am I going to go there to close or am I going to just do it like mail me a package or something? Like, I don't even know what I'm going to do because I'm like, I don't really feel like getting on this hour and a half plane, like dealing with that. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's going to be interesting to see how this kind of plays out. Yo, Arthur, you got a question, bro? I saw you had your hand raised. I'm allow you to talk right now. Go ahead, Arthur.
Alpha.
Peace, peace. Can you hear me?
Yes, King. Talk to me, brother.
Chilling. Y'all kind of answered my question. But I was gonna ask what kind of opportunities you think there are for cash buyers. But it sounds like waiting on these Airbnb guys to kind of struggle with their liquidity and being able to go in and kind of pick those up cash and then be able to, like you said, I think that once the travel does pick back up eventually, for me, I feel like the Airbnbs are the way people are going to want to go, because who's going to really want to be in a hotel with 300 other people? You know what I mean? So I feel like when people do start to travel, eventually an Airbnb, at least for me, that's how I would prefer to be, because I know I'm going to be by myself. So it seems like maybe that's the cash play. If you do want to make the cash play, and like Sherry Ann, I don't want to mess your name up, darling. But it seems like that maybe that is the play if you're making a cash purchase.
The thing with the Airbnbs is the wait, right? We know it's going to rebound, but how many people who own properties now solely for Airbnbs can afford to go 6 months, 8 months, a year without getting any revenue, but still having to pay a mortgage? Or maybe it's those people that's forbearing it for 3 or 6 months, but won't even have all the money when that time period is over. So like Julian said, we really can't predict the future, but we do know in New Orleans that we're looking at 2021 easily. They still don't know if Mardi Gras next year is going to happen. So,
and my only thing is, I think the hotels where they're going to have an advantage over Airbnb, I think their room prices will drop, but their cleanliness standards will be higher than that of Airbnb. They'll have more standards than Airbnb hosts going over there with some Lysol and wiping surfaces down, right? So, and there are people who are very sensitive to that, especially now. So that I think that'll affect people's decision more than it did in the past.
Man, I'll tell you, even before this, I was not really messing with Airbnb like that. I'll be honest with you. I've had some experiences with Airbnb was like, yo, this is dirty as hell. You know, leftover condoms in the joint. Like, what's going on here? Like, I can't even stay in here. So even before this, I'd rather be in a hotel. Like, catch me at the W, because I know like the standards. Like, I know like you're gonna have, like, my room is gonna be clean. My sheets is washed. There's new sheets. Like, so I was already a little skeptical about Airbnb, but after this, I don't even know if I have you had an
Airbnb. You had an Airbnb brand. You pull up to a Julian Airbnb, you know it's gonna be proper.
I mean, if I'm dealing with these folks, then I know I'm good, right? So when I come to the end, if they got an Airbnb, I'm like, all right, I can stay at that, right?
Yeah.
But for strangers, like, I don't know, man. People are dusty and dirty nowadays.
Indeed.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you got any more questions, King?
No, I appreciate it.
My brother, I'll speak to you soon.
No doubt.
I'm a hotel and an Airbnb person, right? Me owning an Airbnb kind of opened my mind up a little bit more to Airbnb than before. But I'm both, because we found studies where hotels aren't as clean as sometimes we think they are either.
That is true.
So, you know, when they don't change the sheets, as long as they look clean, you bring a black light, you might find some stuff there. So it really just depends on where I'm traveling to and who I'm traveling with. Because with Airbnb, sometimes, for example, my uncle was getting married, and as a family, we were all going. Me, my mom, my dad, my brothers. And instead of us all just booking separate rooms, we say, hey, we'll just get a really nice house, right? You look at their reviews online, you get a really nice house. One of us will pay for it, and we can all just kind of stay together, have that bonding moment. Because of course we all stay separate, right? So that's where I think those things come into play. And for people who typically book Airbnbs, I notice it's them wanting to kind of experience some authenticity of the city. They want to stay in an area very native to the city where they can feel like they're living among the locals. They can say hi, they can be on the porch, enjoy a cup of coffee. So I think it's just a different experience. And I think people who like hotels are people just who like hotels no matter what. And people who want to stay amongst locals are always going to be that way no matter what. And I know with COVID, we had somebody do a stay for 5 days recently. She checked out about 2 days ago, and Airbnb is requiring like this 2 to 3 day before somebody can even book again. So they are, I guess, whatever they're saying about COVID, it lasts on surfaces for 2 or 3 days. So it has to, we can't even go in and clean it. They're not even wanting us to go clean it for at least 2 days. So whatever is there can go, and then you go in on the third day, have somebody clean it, and there's like this big time gap before somebody else can book it again, I guess is their response to it. But I think hotel lovers are hotel lovers, and Airbnb lovers are Airbnb lovers, and I'm kind of either way, just depends on where I'm going. Because me, I grew up in the hood, so I'm kind of skeptical about going to cities I don't know about and staying in one of their neighborhoods. I'm more comfortable more so with staying at a hotel in a well-lit area where I can come out and see a bunch of people versus going to New York that I know nothing about and living amongst locals that I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. So let me ask you, since you're a host, you got recent bookings. That was good information that you gave us on what Airbnb is requiring now. But have they made you as a owner host use specific cleaning products?
No, they recommend things, but no, they don't tell us. I mean, I'm very clean. My properties are something I will lay my head in. Because I can see some online and look dirty and dusty when you looking through the pictures, and those are the ones that's typically $29 and $39 a night, right? So I charge pretty well for my Airbnbs, but you get that quality when you go. I pay cleaners. I have a schedule that's way too busy to clean up anything, so I pay cleaners, and I usually go behind them or send somebody to go behind them just to make sure it looks good, and it is good. I have 3 sets of sheets, 3 sets of comforters. So things are there. I have white everything there so that you can see it. It gets bleached. So I have my own set standards because where I live and where my Airbnbs are kind of a little bit apart. So whenever I would go into the city and didn't want to drive home, I would stay at one of my Airbnbs myself. So I think it's all about checking the reviews. That's huge because people are going to be very candid and honest about their stay and what they experience. But also looking at the pictures, if it looks like grandma's house, and I'm not saying nothing bad about grandma, but a lot of people go to like thrift centers and stuff like that to get furniture for Airbnbs, and you can tell, right? And to me, that speaks volumes as to what you're going to get when you check into that place.
Interesting. So as far as industries, right? I know we spoke about tourism, but what other industries are out there for us to pay attention to if we want to invest? Because I know tourists is a big part of the community, but what else is out there? Are there a big area for banking? Is it medical? Like Amazon? Are they out there? Like what other companies or industries are out there?
Medical.
And oil.
Medical and oil.
Yes, oil and medical.
So besides tourism, those are probably the second, third biggest employers in the market.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so you got oil who's taking the beating and tourism taking the beating.
But medical is on medical is
medical. But
medical all the way up.
Medical going to keep going though.
Yeah, medical.
I mean, the nurses and the doctors and everybody, they're doing real good right now.
They're doing real good.
Oh, they killing it. Yeah. They getting big money right now, those nurses and doctors, as they should.
As they should.
So shout out to all the nurses, the doctors, the first responders. Shout out to all the teachers. God bless you. Especially the teachers. Man.
Oh my goodness.
I got 3 kids. So God bless you, teachers, man. y'all deserve a 50% raise.
Yeah.
Like off top, man. Because I don't know how y'all be doing this damn homework.
With 30 of them though. With 30 of them. And like, especially the 5-year-olds. I got a 5-year-old. She bounces off the wall. I got a 5-year-old.
This is crazy. Like, this is nuts. How do you deal with this? But yeah, so everybody on YouTube, man, shout out to y'all. Make sure y'all like this video. I'm gonna put the panelists again in the group chat. I mean, not the group chat, but the chat. So that way you have all the Instagram information. You guys can go follow them, reach out to them, You know, these ladies are top of their profession in the real estate market in the city. You see the knowledge that they have, whether you're a first time home buyer, whether you're an investor. They think like investors because they are investors. So let's close this out because we're on 6:40, 5:40 your time, and I know everybody has something else they need to do. So Melissa, let's start with you. Tell the people how to find you, how to contact you, and take it from there.
All right. You can find me. My Instagram is Melissa_McClendon. You can reach me directly on my cell anytime. Don't go before 9 o'clock at night, but 504, I'm trying to set that rule, 504-417-5131. You can find me Instagram, Facebook, Melissa McClendon Realtor. And my website is nolahome.com.
Look, man, you know I got 100K on my page, right? So you just gave your number out to 100,000 people.
Oh my goodness.
Minimum.
And she got her hair done. It's perfect.
But no, that's my business number, so they can hit me up.
All right.
Look,
I know what the screen calls.
Look, Melissa, listen, like, I ain't gonna ask you to repeat it, but if y'all got it, you got it. If y'all didn't, oh well. Like, and just be respectful, people, please.
It's on her page anyways. Y'all can find it on her page.
And you got it on your page. You live in.
Well, we sell real estate. We can't be a secret agent. We got to be out here.
Yep.
Hey, listen, better you than me on that one. Sherry, go ahead.
Same thing, 504-319.
Oh my God, you too?
I have 3 phones. They can call that one. I am perfectly fine, okay?
Oh, man.
504-319-2641. I am C Levy _Nola Realtor on IG, Cherry and Levy on Facebook. Usually available. I work from 9 to 7 Monday through Fridays and from 10 to 5 on Saturdays, off on Sundays, guys.
And my number is www.multifamilymasterplan.com. That's where you can find me. Come get this game, this sauce for free. And literally, y'all, you have the best 2 real estate agents in New Orleans right here. So please reach out to them if you want to invest in this market. Literally, just flip a coin and call whoever. And then you got the best mortgage broker in the country right there. So this is everybody you need to succeed here in this market. You don't have to go anywhere else. And if I can help you learn how to be a better investor, I'm here to help you as well. I'm trying to help as many people who acquire multifamily property as possible, free 300 people just like Harriet Tubman did. So I appreciate y'all. Thank you, Matt, for this.
Yeah, hold on. See, you be having these bars, right? What was that you said? You trying to do what?
I'm trying to free 300 people just like Harriet Tubman did through real estate. Real estate, the above ground railroad. She was on the underground railroad. I'm on the above ground railroad.
Yeah, I'm not even mad at that, yo. So listen, shout out to the panelists, man. Sherry and Melissa, Julian. I appreciate you guys for coming on the channel today, dropping a lot of gems. YouTube earners, make sure you guys follow them. I hope you got their phone numbers. I'm going to be hitting you ladies up too, because now I'm interested in this market because these numbers were absolutely amazing. Like I didn't even know that they were giving up numbers like that. When I'm thinking about your market, I'm thinking rent is like $700 or something, right? But you tell me $1,500 an apartment. I mean, I thought that was just mind blowing to me.
I moved here. Do you understand that? I picked up my entire life and moved.
I see why. Like you got good food, heat, all year round. You got 130 festivals pre-COVID, like, and you got all this real estate opportunity. Like it's like the best of both worlds.
Business-oriented women. Like, come on, man.
Listen, you can't go wrong with this, man. You living a great life over here, down here in the NO. Now, before we go, I need everybody on YouTube to like this video. And again, shout out to Earn Your Leisure for sponsoring this video today and sponsoring the series. If you guys want to be an EYL University member, make sure you use my annual promo discount code EYLMG. Now, ladies, before I let you go, I cannot let you guys go without saying one thing for me. You got to say baby for me one time. Like, you got to say one time. We need it to end this show, and then we good. You got to say baby or something for me. Come on, Lola.
Listen, For the right price, I'll sell y'all Julian's number. I'm joking.
You want a paper chase? You got the buyer.
Word, yo.
Right price. DM me. I'm playing.
Hey,
Yeah,
listen,
I do.
baby, for the right price, you're gonna get Julian number, baby.
All right, baby.
There we go. There we go. Come on, Melissa. We need it.
Yeah, baby. Thank you for having us on. We appreciate you, baby.
Yeah. Now we official, baby. Yo, we out of here, yo.
We out.
YouTube. Hit that like button. Go follow the panelists. And make sure you reach out to them if you want to buy real estate in New Orleans. This was a dope segment. I had a lot of fun doing this. We definitely got to do this again, man.
Sounds good. Whenever you're ready.
I'm seeing you guys all my New Orleans business. You got it.
Peace.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
All right, guys. I appreciate y'all. YouTube, we out of here. Peace.
All right. Bye.
Oh, man.